Good morning and welcome to another morning with Delenn and Russell. We are actually hanging out in my little, what do you want to call it? The shack for now. And we are going to be fairly soon moving into the church building, but I just want to show you where we are at because we have a lot of work left to do. Let's start out by just quickly taking a pause and looking for some music because, yeah, music would probably be good. Let's see, I'm in the mood for this one, so let's try that. There we go. Got some tunes, and let's just double check to make sure we've got game sounds. All right. Go with that and see what we've got. Have games in. Okay, we're good. Rock and roll. So I was making some more sandstone and putting it a little bit up because I didn't really need a whole lot. But let's just see where we're at because I know we are going to be very, very short on the smooth quartz. I haven't got that far, but we can also move. If I would stop walking, we would also move towards getting a whole lot of the interior done. You can see we've done the outside, got that far through in some doors and stuff like that. Now I'm going to go inside and then I'll switch over to free cam so that we can, oops, close this. We actually see, so last day, I was actually cutting out half the windows because I had made too many. Like we actually had, oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this one. There we go. I had 9 windows rather than the 4 that are supposed to be here, so I had to go and change that up. I think we've got everything. Oh, I blew it on the corner. Otherwise, you're basically done on that portion. I could start throwing in the roofing. So the newer section had the lighter roofing with some of the moss and stuff on it, and the older section I'm going to stick with the tiles. So we're probably going to throw that in to the point of whatever I've got, and then have to go down underneath the earth to get some more. Because I have a suspicion that I never tend to mine up enough. The other thing that occurred to me this morning, I had a really bizarre set of dreams last night. But the other thing that occurred to me this morning is I really did not initially like the sandstone. I like the smooth, and I like the textures and stuff we've got. I know this all needs to be texturized, give it some look, but where we're at with that, I had a revelation this morning that it probably should have and could have been mud brick because it's darker, but not as dark as some of the other options. So that will not be something I do on camera if I decide to switch it all out. You can see that I'm working towards being close to done on the interior walls. But smooth sandstone, smooth quartz going all over the interior of this section. And this one as well. We're short a bunch of stairs because I needed to do stairs in some of the window wells and stuff where we've curved off and some of the doorways. But yeah, that's something we need to trade with my villagers for and then smelt it and stuff. So it just takes far, far, far too long. Now, I'm going to take a quick pause again to figure out what we're doing here because there is a really big issue. We've got, found it. There's a picture that suggests, yeah, it's probably this one. Double check and see if I've got it handy. References. On. Oh, well, it's not even pointing at the right thing anyways. Okay. Yeah, that's not the right place anyway. That one's not the right place anyway. Those two off. I'm looking at a church building, but that's not the one I'm quite looking at. I want... Is that it for you guys? That show. Yeah, that's what I want. So what we're seeing here on the church pictures... Oops. I guess it is the browser. Okay, fine. That's interesting. But in any case, so what we're seeing here, and I'm just going to see if I can get it to zoom in. do. Browser, are you going to cooperate? No. Okay. Come on. Never wants to be the picture of this. Is not that. Okay, so the church picture I want just does not want to show up. But what I'm hoping to do is so you guys can't even see what's going on here. But there's a part of it where at the top it shows that the building actually is flat at the top. So no. So anyways, the point that I'm trying to make is that the doorway up here, there's actually literally a door. It goes in, and so the roof is flat. It doesn't actually have a full-on arched roof. But what I think I might do instead, debating whether I'm going to make it follow the roof line or whether I'm just going to keep it flat. But in either case, it's not, on the inside it's white, but on the top it's dark. So we may be able to get away with less materials on that one. That's what I'm trying to get at. I can't even open my mouth this morning. Today's one of those days where coffee would probably be useful, but I believe I've chosen decaf with Fantastic Sherlock Fox. So yeah. And also, my stream information is completely and utterly wrong at the moment, so let me see if I can change this. Roofing, sure. Go. Category has to be Minecraft because I'm not playing the room 3. You can tell I'm a little bit tired. Not quite sure why, because I did go to bed at a decent time. And yeah, the Twitter announcement was completely and utterly wrong, but that's just the way it goes. Boy, oh boy. One of those days, it's just going to get me. Cute. All right, settings. Let's try and just make sure that we have set platforms. Go. All right. See how much I can recover. What I'm thinking of doing in the ceiling, it's supposed to be white, but I can find where I put it. That's not it. Terracotta and amethyst. Could bone block the ceiling to make it look a little more whitish, but it's got that's sort of an off-white color. And I did a bunch of, there we go. I'm gonna grab a bit of this. Quartz slabs. Ooh, I have some smooth quartz stairs. Excellent. That'll save me a little bit of trouble. All right. I'll just put this stuff away later. So I'm just actually going to do a quick test here. Let's put this up there, smooth quartz, and just see how the calcite looks next to it. Or roofing material. Do not like that. It looked a little whiter. Okay, so that's not a go. What about all right. What about the bone block? That look better. If you're looking at it from underneath, the bone block might work. Could also just cop out and do plain old concrete. That might even be better. I have a white concrete I can test with. Yes. Ew. That looks downright gray. Okay, no go on that one. I don't like the striping in the ceiling, but I think the bone blocks might be a better move than either of these two materials. I'll set on this side, just how it looks. What else have I got? This one's probably just as bad. Good morning, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. Thank you very much for putting the envelope on top of my coffee. I will probably discuss that on stream in a couple of minutes. I wanted to make sure that there was a possibility for some people to have actually surfaced if they wanted to. The question of the day has become, in the past, people were buried with items they would need in the afterlife. What would you want to be buried with so you could use it in another life? In the meantime, Fantastic Sherlock Fox, I'm looking at roofing material, or well, ceiling material for inside the church. And I think at the moment, because I'm using the smooth quartz on all the walls, even though I'm not quite done getting that, I think I'm going to need to go with the bone block roofing and then cover it over on the outside. I give a weird little stripe with this edge on it. I think that's better because the third option I've got is actually the mushroom stems, and I think that would look absolutely awful. Yeah, looking at calcite and diorite as well, and they just don't cut it. I looked at white concrete and it was gray, so that's not going to be good either. But I mean, on the other hand, with the bone blocks, it's not like I don't have a gazillion of them, so we're all good on that front. Right. Let's grab bone blocks. This one back. And back there. All right. I think that's what we need for the time being. I would love to have more of the smooth quartz to finish off with, but, you know, not going to happen. All right, let's throw the bone block boxes up here. This one. A little bit in here, and then head up the top and start roofing. I'm going to try probably going one down, so immediately above the edges of the windows. Not quite what we had in the pictures, but I think that's going to work because then if I slab it over, I'll still have a lip that will be visible from the outside. And actually, yeah, check that after. I want to see what we cover the inside of the walls of the tower with. Because if it's solid white like it is in the rest of the building, that's just going to be a lot more the materials required. Oops, don't stand on that. Okay, let's just see how far down this goes. That'll be fine. I may be able to peel off this portion of the tower. We'll see. So backwards bridging bone block. Backwards bridging bone blocks is something apparently I need to practice. All right, let's take that one. Yeah, the Twitch announcement is way wrong. The one for the rest of it is probably wrong as well by the time the bots picked it up. I got on and started actually talking and saying stuff before I realized that both of the announcements had not been updated. Because I didn't know what I wanted to call it, so I didn't touch it last night. I really should decide on titles the night before. It would make life a lot easier. I'm going to go with it is going to stripe, but I'm going to go with the long direction stripe as opposed to good herringbone pattern this, but I think it's probably far more trouble than it's actually worth by the time I'm done. So the lower roof is going to be the bone, and then the upper roof will be probably slate tiles, I think. or not slate tails. Oh shoot. You want to say deep slate, but that's not it. It's yeah, cobbled deep slate. Yeah, so deep slate tiles. That's what I'm looking for. And I know the coloring underneath this is not ideal. I would have liked to go white all the way up, but because I can't do that without a double thick wall here, it would really make everything ultra thick, and that would just not work too well. So, you know, artistic choices, right? Okay, can I do this backwards? Discussed in previous ones, I'm not the greatest, fastest placer, but at least it helps to have my hand refilled automatically by an add-on. It makes a funky sound as you put them down. Like in a weird sort of way, I guess if one was to have a mausoleum beneath, that might actually also make the clinking, or not clinking, the bones start to make more sense. So I'm hoping we'd have enough of the deep slate. If I go as the slab, that should work, because then I've only got to do half as much as I originally had planned. There's a motif underneath on the ceiling. I don't know if I'm going to bother with that. Also, I've not decided too much on the lighting just yet. I'm thinking I might go with fence-based chandeliers. It's probably an option in this case, but not fully confirmed on that either. And it looks like this is going to be lower than I originally anticipated. That gives me some opportunity to fill in, I suppose. Clinky, clinky. This week has been an interesting week just in terms of where my head's been at. We talked about that. Oh, whoops. That one. We talked about that before. But what I mean as well is it's also affecting the remembering to post and update notices and announcements correctly. So that's going to kick me long term. I just need to make sure that I start changing that fact and building a new routine, I guess. Because the go live announcements should at least be half decent, right? Sometimes I wish that Twitter would, or like things that auto post to Twitter would just simply scrape what's already in the information for the Twitch channel. But, you know, that would be too easy. Actually, it wouldn't be the too easy point. It would be probably silly. I know I have the ability to build a bot thing that does that for me. I just have to get around to doing it. So I can actually have my streamer bot scrape Twitch and then post that for me, I think. I have to double check to see whether or not it has Twitter abilities or not. It would need an account, right? And that's not something that I think that it has, so I have to double check and see. I know Stream Elements has Twitter integration. The problem with the Stream Elements one, though, is you have to set them separately. Okay. Oop, got one. Whatever. Can't just go back because the orientation of the blocks needs to be stuck onto something. I guess I could make it temporary. Whoa. That's part of the problem with my placing skills. There we go. This way. Try it again. Yay. Okay, what I think access blocks. I could just trim them. Be one quick second here. I just have to deal with the tissue, and I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're back. We're about halfway across, which is a good time to take a look and see underneath whether or not it's starting to have the effect I'd like. Not ideal, but I think that's probably good because it's got a good juxtaposition um, to the sandstone, even though it's not quite the quartz. I could swap it out for quartz. I don't mind the striping. I mean, really, I'm not going to be having everybody all over the inside. It's not going to be super decorative in here. So, yeah. I'm also going to just quickly swap out. Get a couple more of the quartz stairs in while I've got them. A little better. Oh, that would explain a lot. For some reason, looking down and being up on the roof, I completely lost track of time. I have a clock in the corner, but I did not think. Take a look at that. Okay. Fine. It's all good. This one and that one. Okay. That's better. On this one here, one there, one here, and one there. I think that's all of them? Okay. That looks like it finishes up a little nicer. Apparently I'm having one of those days. Good thing I slept, because that guy, not my favorite friend. If I leave him alone, he'll leave me alone, so let's try that. Bing. let's just get this on the road. This is going to be trouble until I get the other layer on top. Oh, fall off the roof here. 2 blocks too many. Yep. Okay, I left him alone. He left me alone. We're all good. It's a little quiet this morning, but I think now that we're half hour in, let me get to the end of this row. I keep saying let me get to here or there or whatever, but truthfully, just one. Okay. Actually, I'll save it till later. I'm excited about some mail that came in, but yeah, I'll save that till later. Are you flipping kidding me? I'm trying to get this roof done. Silly world, stop it. Outside smooth basalt, no. Deep slate, okay, good. I can make the tiling and get that on the road. Oh, nope, I have to cobble it first. Dag it. Okay, well, let's get that part of the roof done, and then we'll go into cobbling. While I'm down here, let's just do it. I'm excited about stuff. That's a little distracting. So, I'm just gonna out video mode so I can see what's going on. Okay, good. This is from let's see, go this way temporarily. And we need that anyways. This, you guys probably can't see, is from Twitch Interactive. Yes. So it's my very first supposedly payout. I have no idea how much is in here. So I'm just going to open it on up. And just see how much is on this thing. Or if it's an apology, you know, for like the you haven't earned anything. All right. So they sent us what appears to be, actually give me a sec here. kind of see-through, so. There we go. All right. So they sent what actually turns out to be like a blank invoice. You see nothing whatsoever on it. US amount. I got myself $52. Oops, what's this way? $2.06. So yeah, that was kind of fun. I was never expecting to get anything at all whatsoever, like ever. And yeah, so I've got a check that can be deposited. That's cool. So anyway, that's my smile for the day because I have my first check. Yay! Yippee skippy! You can see the other thing there that we're showing is the magical Hogwarts trunk. So that's the current build going on right underneath. We're going to do another step of that when the server reboots itself. So yay! Yeah, and it's in US dollars, which I don't know if I have a currency converter on here that does US dollars. Canadian, because the amount has to shift, so the math would be messed up every time. Good morning, Tis for Truth. That's
Hello.
Twitch.
Hello.
So that is my very first Twitch payout. Yes. That's why I'm excited, because I honestly never expected to get anything. I do this for fun. I mean, for example, like yesterday, I was playing The Room 3 on whatever Wednesday, just because I wanted a break from Minecraft. And the puzzle games are incredibly poorly attended, which I'm fine with. Well, sort of. I'm mostly fine with. I don't mind talking during a game, but I will have a tendency to hyper focus and be really quiet if I know it's just me. That's part of why I started Twitch in the first place. So when it ends up being precisely the same, except you've got to talk knowing there's a few people, it's still a challenge for me. But the point to the whole thing is that I've got a little bit of play money that I can turn back into, I don't know, I'll just throw it in the bank and eventually eat it using it for something else. But I mean, one way of looking at it is, you know, you can offset a little bit of the slight cost of startup. Like I got, when I started, we sunk money into a half decent microphone and stuff like that. But and then I had upgraded the Stream Deck from like a six button, I don't know, maybe 8-button, and it was up to like the 15. So it's kind of nice to go, okay, well, those things weren't quite such a sunk cost. But I mean, the big key is whether or not I actually am having fun. It's not about the money. It never is, never was. And in all honesty, in Canada, the conversions usually stink. So to get anything is nice. And we'll see how well that flips over. But yeah, the payout threshold in Canada is now like $50 American, so that's good news. And I had it mail it to me because based on the various amounts retained for return, the check actually seemed to have the least on it. And because I didn't really care if I ever earned any money and didn't expect any, then if it took forever and a day to get here, it wasn't like I'm counting on it for rent or something like that. This is just all an extra. And if you think about it, I guess maybe it pays for a couple of the games I've picked up, I guess. I don't know. I haven't really decided. Thanks for dropping by, Tiz. I keep meaning to pop in and see more of what's going on in like on the Phantomverse and see some of the stuff you've been working on his server. I do when I can, but when I can has been a little bit few and far between lately because I've been trying to watch a few more YouTube videos to give myself some more inspiration for future builds. Oh, whoops. Now that I'm not completely just going backwards, stacking up incorrectly. This again. There we go. Well, yeah, he does stream late. Sometimes I'm up that late, but a lot of it is just that, yeah, I guess people need sleep. I've been oversleeping a lot lately, just having rough ones where I wake up in the night. It's not really insomnia. I'm just waking up, remembering a bizarre dream, and then taking a while to get back to sleep. So it just means that I'm sleeping later in the mornings than I should be. And thank heavens my kids are old enough now that they're allowed to walk themselves to school. And since Fantastic Sherlock Fox has to get up for work anyhow, then he's kind of been stuck with managing them in the morning. I mean, so I really should be taking more part in that, just have not been. So there's a lot of little things on the to-do plate. But yeah. And I mean, I do try and stick around. Weird, it feels dark in here. I do try and stick around Phantom's Discord and stuff and just lurk and read. And so when pictures get posted, I do get to see those, which is really quite nice. Okay, let's put all of that back. Let's get, oh, no, this one. I'm going to move these up the other row. And, oh, that's the wrong box altogether. I want this one. Okay, I don't think I need quite that much. Oh, come on. When you mean to hit shift and you instead hit caps lock. May not even need that much. Go with this and see what I can do. So this is going to be the ultra exciting part. Sarcasm intended. Can do a lot of playing Deep Slate. Yay! Okay. I ran into my building. That's okay. Yeah, it's backwards here. Try not to actually stand on myself. When I oh, that's not going to help. I need the other pick. I'm going to say when I was mining this stuff, I was thinking to myself, I probably should get another pick so that I don't end up silk touching it all. And then I promptly forgot. So I went and mined without the non-silk touch pick. And yeah, it didn't help. Let's see, what's this? Fortune pick, but it'll do. I think. It's got mending. Do I have anything in the toolbox? Oh, I have a pickaxe. Okay, let's see what that is. Don't go away. Silk touch. Nope, that's not going to be any good. Okay, fine. This one. Efficiency 5. Yay! All right. Ow. I'm going to need to do the inside of this place too, because I can't do the roof on that, but don't know what I want to do there. Pardon me. Okay. These. I normally don't like doing this sort of thing on camera, but when you need to, right? Isn't that the way it goes? This or that. No. Okay, I'm out of range of my beacon. That's really smart. Try this again, a little bit wiser. Aha! Facepalm. Where are we? From the edge, we are 1. I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, actually, let's just do this smart way. Writing note over here. 2552 by 1980. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Beacon's no go. Well, that's the thing. I think sometimes I think a lot of streamers in North America at least just don't have the time in their day to stream until their sort of the rest of their day is over, whether it be family commitments or just work or whatever else. What would I have? 25.50. Two. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. I completely guessed wrong. Huh. Okay, I'll fix that. 25.52 by. That's the part I missed. 1983. 1, 2. Yeah, that'd be smart. Fix the holes. Beacon no worky without sky access. Doesn't mean you're going to bed as early as you should, but you're chipping away. Well, yeah. I mean, the practicality is what's actually happening is that Fantastic Sherlock Fox ends up spending an awful lot of his time far less well slept than he should be. Yeah, that's 4. Correct. So he should be getting more sleep than he is, but not so much. All right. Let's try this again with actually using the right. Yeah, there. I can go pretty far now. I can move faster. I can place. Close enough. Uh-huh. Oh, please place something. Yeah, well, today's also, as Fantastic Sherlock Fox points out, it's pretty overcast where we are, which does not allow the sunshine to help you wake up. One of the things I do in the morning, we have blinds in our bedroom, but it's full south, so it's actually quite bright even with the Venetian blinds, the wide slat Venetian blinds. They're horizontal variety, not vertical. But they, even just the normal amount of light that usually comes through from those blinds can be quite helpful. Just in terms of waking up in the morning. It's one of the things I usually do is I get up. Oops. No. Where'd that lamp go? How did I get a hole in the ground anyway? That's just odd. There's the soul cobblestone. All right. Anyway, that's one of the things I do in the morning is I get up and then I close the one little part of the curtains that we had open and the window, just because by that point in the morning we're starting to get sun slowly streaming through, like just at the bottom edge. And if we don't, it gets roasty toasty. Which helps in the morning. Yeah. Which helps you wake up in the morning because you gotta be social. Okay. Cobbled deep slate. Got a few. Let's see if that does enough. Can't take stuff out of my hand if I don't take it out of my hand. Okay, I wanted tile slabs. Ew. Plate slabs, yuck. Okay, with these. Take that. And this one. Just see what they look like. I know on the oh shoot, don't even ask what that's called. Chancel, I guess. When I did that section, I know I did the tiles, but I'm trying to decide for the main, should it be brick? Nope, I think I still like the tiles. And the stairs in the tiles is a little on the busy side, but I think with the flat roof, I think it won't be so bad. But, yeah, that should be plenty. I think I may even have extra. Yeah, or maybe not. Never hurts to have extra. There, now we definitely have plenty. It's overcasting outside again, so I bet you we're going to get some sort of storm or rain or something. In the game, that is. Start with zeros. Oh. Problem with this stuff, it's a little slower to place because I don't want to double layer it like that. We're supposed to get rain in the real world. Oh, okay. That'll explain a lot. Come on. I don't know why the game likes to do little gaps like this. It does make it faster, I suppose, to place it that way, but little gaps, I always have to come back and fix them. Do the whole place, then fix the holes. As long as they don't get double layers, I'm okay with that. And then I'm going to go fall in that hole, I'm sure. That seems to be how I do things around here. On the inside of the church, while I think about it, I'm just going to... on the inside of the church, so I'm actually going to use that as storage. And I've decided that the weird little gap I was complaining about a couple weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, about I'm going to build pews, basically, out of trapdoors and chests, and that's how I'm going to store things. But the pews, I've decided to help with the little gap that we've got in there and make it not quite so obvious. Oh, I underestimated by a lot. Okay. Not make the gap quite so obvious. I've I'm going to put a carpet on top of the chests. Still allows me to open them, but it also makes it less visible with the gap. Okay. Oh, whoops. What do we got? All of deep slate to be cobbled. Alrighty. Yeah. It's right. That one. B. There. And that should do. One over here. Oh, right. Let's try this again. At least by getting most of those zeros covered up, I shouldn't have as much headache. Almost at Lego break time anyway. Really? Sure. Come on. Should probably be doing this on the all grass side. That would make sense. But, you know, Probably a little more than I planned for. Uh-huh. Go away. Okay, so it looks like I've got my axes reversed again. I've got an efficiency axe, and I've got a silk touch axe, and I've got an add-on that if you are going to be using it for something like, I'll say bingo, where when your tool breaks, you really want to have a replacement right at hand, then that's fine. You know, it'll fill your hand. That's great. But when you've got a regular and a silk touch axe and it doesn't know the difference, it's a big pain. There we go. Okay. For now, let's put that in here. There, now you can't do that. Just realized if I've got 0 still left on the roof, I'm going to have more monster trouble than I want. Yeah, it's very practical PU design for sure. And yeah, that's what I'm thinking of doing, is tearing down the shack that I usually use for storage. And the advantage to it is then I can build a bunch of chest pews in advance and fill them as necessary. There'll probably be an entire hallway down the side, like the long section over there is probably nothing but wool, just because we've got a wool farm, you know, and I do carpet art, and so yeah, lots of wool's handy. But also, sometimes I go, oh, well, you know, I can never find enough places to put the stuff I have, and then at the same time I flip it around and I start going, I never have enough materials to do what I want. I'm always having to mine or something. And it's like, well, those two are sort of a circular argument that's never going to get you anywhere. So yeah, you're hazy. So whereabouts would the smoke from wildfires be coming from for you, Tiz? I'm in Alberta, which is Western Canada, and we tend to get wildfires from province west of us, British Columbia, and occasionally it'll blow up from, like, say, California. But not particularly sure these days what's on fire. We'll be starting in a minute, so let's not get caught on the roof. All right. By the way, this shack, just dirt thing, is actually not meant to be a feature. I was what was I doing? Oh, I was making. I will get caught on the roof. Like what I was trying to say. Oh yeah, what it was is I was working on the walls a little bit, and one of my previous streams had an extra Lego Redeem run, just so I was actually logged in at the time, and just didn't want to have any risk whatsoever of stuff coming down through the uncovered roof and tagging me or something like that. I was also starting to get things like spiders and so forth that spawn on the roofs dropping in on me. Okay, so we're going to go to quick be right back so I can switch seats. around here. Oh, okay. I get all settled. Grab a mic. And we have Lego for the next 5 minutes. So if you guys need a stretch or a coffee or a washroom break or whatever suits you, go right ahead. I'm just going to quickly grab my phone just to make sure that I've got access to chat, because I can see chat. It's just, no. Is that me? Yes, okay, good. Not much ever usually happens during the Lego stream, but the odd time we've got a conversation going hot, I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Okay, so we just finished up this corner page, so start by turn the page here. And I like to do these little Lego builds. They're doable as redeems in addition to the server breaks. But we're working on that Hogwarts Magical Trunk, and yesterday we completed the community challenge to be able to have a stream that does nothing but build a Lego kit from end to end. So we're going to work on the tech house and the Wens and all that jazz fairly quickly here, because I'd like to do that in October, preferably early October, so that maybe I can do, maybe if that works out well, I might do birthday stream of nothing but Lego as well. That's a possibility. Gotta think about that. So this one looks like it's going to go on the end here, but somehow is not actually. I'm wondering, what did I boo-boo? Put over. Put back. Nope, I guess that's just the way it goes. Just sits up against that. Oh, that doesn't look right. In the picture, it's, oh, duh. Facepalm. There we go. Facepalm moment. Okay. We're in this way. It looks like there's a lot of construction to this trunk, so I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like when it's finished. I'm not in any major rush because I enjoy sharing it with people in fits and spurts. That, and now we're working on basically a handle, and it's probably going to seal up and match up with the piece we've been doing so far. Well, at least I know what that was. I dropped a connector pin on the floor. Actually, on another shelf. I heard it go click off my knee. Last time I dropped something down the back of my desk, and it couldn't find it. Couldn't find it below, couldn't find it above. Turns out that it was actually sitting on the wiring for my camera in behind the desk. Got one little tube. Then we've got to have a sleeve bit in the middle. Where did I put those? See ones with pins. The next step. I don't see where. There it is. Right under my nose. Oh, and another tube on the other side. Handle. Ah, this will be the side of the suitcase, actually. Okay, so then the next spot is we put a couple of pins in. And we can put on mounts. Yeah. We're looking at, I was asking about the wildfires, where it was that the smoke was coming from. I don't know if Fantastic Shock Fox has looked up the ones where what's causing the hazy smoke over here lately. At the point where sometimes you can smell it. Here we go. Then we're going to put one more mount tube in the center to hide that. Looks more like a hinge. There we go. Now, what do we need? Oh, okay, well, we'll stop there. If anybody wants 5 more minutes, they can go ahead and use their points to redeem it. Otherwise, there won't be another one until server restart on the next stream. You have a very good point, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. A very good point. Either burning or soaked. This way. Oops. Oh well, fix that end. Don't go in the hole. I guess bumping up against it would make sure I don't go in the hole. Oh, fix that one. Oh no. No, 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 no. So, the add-on I'm using, I tend to get asked this a fair bit. The add-on I'm using for the light levels at the moment is Mini HUD. And I like it. It's cool. I haven't used it before. I used to use a different one. But of course, everything goes screwball when they do a major update. So yeah, the one I used to use doesn't seem to cooperate anymore. That's okay. I'm just hoping next time I have to go somewhere ultra noisy, like the Ender, that the sound muffler will work. Because that place is loud. Loud. So I don't know if people following the progress of Ian have heard. I haven't been following the progress of that one. To me, it's just like, oh, well, there's a hurricane every year, and sadly, some people who live in its path lose things, and I really care, but get burnt out on it. Anyway, but it sounds like Ian is expected. Ian, I think it is expected to make a second landfall. So usually, when that's the case, it's been a pretty big mess because often it's the neighboring states who manage to escape it that are the most friendly to helping out the states that got slammed. But when it's but when it's the but when it's the states that are neighboring that are also getting hit, then it makes it a little bit more challenging for everybody. Well, yeah, tropical storm is true, but it's still tropical storm can still mean a lot of flooding and a lot of damage. So I don't want to make light of that, nor do I want to make light of the actual hurricane itself. But the tropical storms tend to have far more water damage than wind damage. There we go. Come on. Oh, I'm saying come on is because I don't need to. Okay. So we really didn't have a whole lot left to do up top. So this should be enough to finish off that part of the roof. And then aside from looking at a lot of reference photos, which I can do offline between streams, to figure out what's going on with the tower, this tower portion here, I just need to give it a roof and give this section a roof and start decorating. So I think what I'll probably do is start building a lot of the chests and pews and stuff, and we'll start seeing how that goes. Actually, maybe flooring might be a better plan. Yeah, before I put anything on it, flooring is probably a great plan. Order of operations and all that should be done correctly. Okay. I'm just so excited to get moved in that I'm thinking things a little backwards. We don't get a whole lot of super exciting weather in Alberta. We get heat waves. Parts of Alberta get tornadoes and super bad hailstorms. I mean, I won't say we don't get anything, but it's not nearly to the quantity that parts of the U.S. get. So there's even this state or situation where our hailstorms, they're bad. I have no arguments about that. When we hear about tornadoes and hailstorms in the US, they're usually worse. There we go. Okay, then I just need the buttons. So what I'm going to be doing is buttoning all the spots that are still spawnable on the roof. Blizzard, huh? A blizzard worth that. That's interesting. Not sure how one has a blizzard worth sitting on the front porch with wine. But yes, we do have a front porch, which is also kind of funny because it's not a. We have them, but it's not a front porch in the classic American prairie sense where you can sit out with a rocker and just chill and talk to all your neighbors. That doesn't happen up here. Not to mention that that's a very old stereotype. It's very inaccurate these days. Funny though, it's even changed over the years. Um, Part of the in Canada, you used to see in the prairies, particularly east of us, in small towns and such, you would often see uh, closed-in porches. They would call them summer porches, and it's just because you would get enough bugs and stuff in the heat, even in the prairies, that you wouldn't really want to be hanging out exposed, but also to have it covered in, then it meant it kept bugs and things off of extra foods and things that you were storing out on your porch, just because you didn't have a whole lot of room. Um, my mom's not even 70, so she's probably about 60. I can't even think today. 65, maybe. And anyway, but she's the youngest of four in her house, and she still remembers when her house in the prairies was jacked up so that they could put a basement in. And really, what they did is just like trace the existing root cellar, dug it out another couple of feet, and then put the basement in there. Oh, just gonna see if I can fill this one. There we go. Perfect. And extras go in here. Organization and all that, right? Put them back. There we go. All right. Talking about flooring. That's right. That's what I was. Flooring. Okay. Well, there's many different styles I could choose, but it's time to take another look at some of the reference photography. Just because if I'm doing Q sections and stuff, it probably is smart. Let's pull this down. It's probably smart to see how they've got their carpeting done. Okay, there we go. Freeze for a second, and if I can get this to show properly, property. No. You please. Same thing. This kind of sort of. We'll go with it. See if we can see the right stuff. Okay. Oh, no, that didn't change anything. Okay. Can you please? I'm trying to show you guys what I'm seeing. I remember how I did it. That's actually working. Got it capturing a window, just not the correct one. I don't know why it does not want to capture the correct one. Nope, it just does not. Does not want to see. Not want to see the page I'm looking at. Weird. I don't know. Got it now. All right. You guys are seeing a portion of the window. And let me move that one. All right, so what I'm looking at for the inside should hopefully be fairly quickly findable. We've got, you can see in this one, if it will load. That would never wants to load for me. Fine. So you see in the left-hand-ish shot of this one, right, brush. In any case, that particular one on the left-hand side, you can slightly see that we've got the whole interior white, and it's even in the sketch, it's white. So what I'm hoping to do, that it should have been on the whole time. Sorry, guys. But what I'm hoping to do with that is take a look more at the flooring. You can sort of barely see in that picture a pink aisle. I'm not even seeing it very well in that one. So look some more. There's a closer up shot of the roof. See that we've got some motif work to do there. I may actually just skip that and do some hanging chains with lanterns on the ends. See something similar. Okay, so now looking at, I don't have a great shot of down the aisles. I can sort of do whatever I want, I suppose. Yeah, there's not much showing flooring here. You can see there's a lot of interior deco that does not, or is not Minecraft friendly. So that's part of why I'm just going to skip it. Because the carpeting is, unless there's something built into the floor, there is definitely not a lot of decoration to it. That looks like smooth stone flagging, so I can deal with that. That's not a problem. I'm going to bet you it's probably smooth stone with carpet on it. See a little bit in the one. There we go. All right. Zoom into that picture a little bit better. You can sort of see in this one a little bit of the flooring down between the pews. That's kind of the concept I'm looking at, which is red with the stone on the side of it. But I think what I might do, rather than using carpet, that would make things non-spawnable, might be smarter. I was originally going to try and just do some wood flooring, but I think that I might end up going with carpet as well. I love the shade of it in this picture. So yeah, I love the shade of it, and our magenta carpet just really doesn't capture that. So I'm thinking maybe the stone flooring, and then this center section might end up actually being mangrove, now that I think about it. But yeah, so in this particular picture, because of the way that the building is built, I had to tear up the flooring. I mean, British historical buildings are all, they're heated in various different ways because of the permissions given when they do the construction. So these are actually basically your old steam piping. There'd be a big boiler system in the basement. You can see there's a couple of space heaters in a pinch. So yeah, thank heavens I don't have to deal with that in Minecraft. But you can definitely see, so we've got some pews going on. And the upper section is all supposed to be white on the inside, but unfortunately, as I said, the windows are probably gonna have to stay as they are. So I will probably fill in this end section. I need to figure out how to make the top part look good. I might go with the sandstone and just do finish off with the white across, but I'm not happy with the height of the arch compared to the windows. So I'm gonna have to redo that one. I figure that's a lot of figuring out off camera. But one thing I definitely have, very definitely have, is a ton of actual stone. So might as well go get a shulker or two and start placing and just see how it looks. I'm not a huge fan of it. Love to have smooth. The problem with the smooth is that it has borders. Oh, it's daytime. Okay, good. And I may have to go with birch buttons on the top of the building. I just realized I have to do that. Figure out, let's see, if I turn that off. Stone button, acacia button. Bruce. Yeah, yeah. Let's just do it this way. They've got a few different designs. Those are all wood. And, or stone button. That's it. Okay, well, birch buttons on the roof it is. Darn it. Oh well. That's okay. Oh, whoops. That's a lot of shulkers. I don't think I need that many shulkers of stone to start. Wow. That would be a bit of an oopsie. Any handy dandy birch buttons on the go? No. More birch planks than I know what to do with. Take a box of that. There we go. And it is nighttime. All right, let's make the shulker. Oh, let's make the shulker monster. Oh, make the shulker monster grow, and then I'll head up to the roof. Stone, stone. Yes. That one. This side. That one in between. All right. I had some birch planks kicking around, but I guess I don't. All right, so let's. Wrong button. I have one of those wrong button kind of days. This one, thank you. Oops, not that. Let's go 48 buttons. I don't know if that's going to be enough, but let's find out. Do. Should be more than enough. Must have spawned right below me. Great. Apparently I have something to work on under this wall. Great. This one, that, this, that, and there. And a lot over there. End of the building dealt with first, though. That's stairs. Okay. Yeah, 48 buttons is far too many. That's okay. A whole ton of zeros. Split up. What from? Okay. Wonder what that's lit from. Hmm. Not gonna knock it. Okay. Ouch. I wanted buttons. That's what it was. Stone buttons. More than that. Should do it. Hope that's enough. You can go away. I don't like you. There, that's problem temporarily solved. All right. Still the scaffolding issue, but at least that'll help with part of it. And did I leave a hole in the roof this end? No. You can see we've still got a ways to go, but we're almost there. Ow. But yeah, to be honest, I don't know what I'm actually going to do after this one. I mean, there's a lot of stop and build a small farm for fish, and then go cat hunting. Well, not cat hunting, pardon me. Then try and find another project while I wait for cats. That's a distinct possibility, but I'm not really sure what project I want to get onto after this. Oh, gonna need more. For some reason I thought there was only one row on each side, but I guess there's two. I mean, maybe I just need to read more books so I've got more characters. I know I wanted to do another reference to Sherlock Holmes because what do you call it? Magnifying glass is a bit of a weak sauce excuse. It works, but it's kind of weak. So I should probably consider something else for that. I'd wanted to do a sitting room, but unfortunately Minecraft doesn't have the detail required. Make it look good. Yeah, let's do two. Not short on stone. I need to figure out what I want to do next. This one has dragged on a while. That's part of why I'm starting to think about what comes next. But on the other hand, I don't think I'll be able to make it successfully drag till December. Or whenever 20 comes out. So we'll just have to see. It's Future Man. I think the custom shadow part was only supposed to be pulled if Future Man actually shows up in the chat, which he has not yet this morning, or for him, late this evening. That would be Creef, by the way. I jokingly call him Future Man because he's in South Africa. And Future Lady, if you ever hear me refer to that, or Future Gal, is Carnage Joe, Australia. Or very rarely Nurse Josie, though I haven't seen from her in weeks. And it could just be that she's, I mean, they're on a different time zone, different time scale. Life is just different over there. There we go. Okay. I think that's the majority of the stuff I can do anything about. Let's see, can I? If you guys may be seeing this, so I don't know. But where is Earth.com? You're only seeing part of this, so that's the part we wanted. All right. So the building you're seeing smack in the middle of that picture is actually the church we're working with. Okay. And we unfortunately can't get a 3D view of it. If I click 3D, it just squashes out. Like there's not much there. And it spins, which I find really kind of annoying. But you can see they've done a little bit of arch to the roof. Unfortunately, though, there is actually there's a door up top. So I'm going to have to think on what to do with that. But what I came looking for was to see what they've done for the little side building and the roof of the tower. In both cases, what they've actually done is they've kept it shallow, but you can carefully see, if I pull it in a little bit, you can carefully see a bit of a ridge line down the center of the side shack and the center of the tower. And the reason for that would be that they had a drain off for water. So the roofing could look like this on both sides if I want it to. It would still need to be bomb-proofed and flat for the door. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I'll have to think about that for the main section. But for the other two, I could easily do. Ow. Easily the roof. Anyway, you think the fish farm would be fun, but you don't know how complex they are. Cats would be cute. Yeah, the fish farm would actually be dead simple. Really, really quite simple. Because it really just takes a little bit of magma block. Wow. What planet I'm on today. It just takes a little bit of magma block. And rails, a copper cart, that sort of jazz. Nothing super complex or exciting, but I mean, I'm here, and you can see just how close we are to the water, all the way around the base. So I could put one just about anywhere and let's say AFK at it, but I could definitely get a little bit of something here and there, and that's really all that I was looking for. I got the flying, but I don't have the landing. All right, so what do we have? Tile slabs. And here we go again. Actually, I think I'm going to go with just the tile for now. See how this looks. Oh. What's the max height I've got here? Okay, I want the lower slab. Keep things. There we go. I have to spawn-proof that. And there. This one. Nope, lower. Lower. Oh, Up there. Come on. Hmm. I don't really like that line. I think I'm going to take it up a little bit. Two in the center, two at the sides. This one down there. Yeah, I think I like that better. I'll take the last two. Darn. Oh well. Nope. Top. Gonna get me a lot more buttons, but I don't think I really care. Oh, I slabbed that one. All slabbed, okay. Throw that down for now. That'll do. All right. Oops. One. Oh. This one. There. That one. Excellent. Okay. I really have to spawn proof this because it's spider height. And as you can tell, spiders are not my friends. I don't like them. Sorry for being so distractible today. I was looking the other day at the skills that the kids could learn for scouting. Oh. That enough to fill the hole? No, not quite. Sorry, distraction. So enough looking at the skills the kids can learn for scouting, and it's just kind of interesting to think, as I may have mentioned before, and this could be rehash, but I'm amused to note that the Scouts Canada system still prefers that we teach them about classic lanterns, and I laughed because yes, we're going to teach them about propane and naphtha or white gas lanterns, but I guess maybe my brain was sort of going, why? Why bother? It's such an old technology that nobody really uses anymore. I mean, sure, there's environments where you don't want to have batteries because the batteries will freeze. I can see that. Oops. But on the whole, battery technology is getting so much better these days that for the majority of camp situations, you're not going to have that problem. So I just found that kind of interesting that they still want us to do that. Whereas, whereas we actually tried to get some of our lanterns to light, and the propane ones are easy. Like it was actually not bad. Mantles and all that jazz. Like it's still pretty, what you expect when you see pictures in the 50s and 60s. But the propane bottle ones are just a pain because if you're going to go to a camp, you have to make sure you've got the right amount of propane bottles. You should. Oop. Bang. You got to make sure you've got the right amount of propane bottles. You got to make sure everything's sealed up well, and then so nothing's hissing and clicking and leaking all over the place inside your gear as you're transporting and stuff. And I don't know, I just find them such a pain. Whereas an LED lantern, you don't even have any prep. You just pull it out of the bag, you flip the switch, and it's on. There's no assembly, there's no prep really, you just go. But the propane ones aren't as bad though. I mean, the naphtha white gas ones, part of it is that these days you sometimes find that you go to buy propane for your summer camp or whatever, and the stores are out. They just don't have it. Whereas, probably because nobody uses it anymore or doesn't want to deal with the mess of preparing it, you'll find stores tend not to run out of the white gas. But also a lot of the white gas lanterns, not only the camp stove that I've inherited from my father-in-law, but a lot of the white gas lanterns, you can actually burn other things in it. So if you needed to, you could turn it into an alcohol lantern, or you could, like, I've seen people actually successfully burning isopropyl alcohol, which is like rubbing alcohol, for cuts and whatever. Okay, let's go. I'm done. In my father-in-law's MSR branded camp stove, he's actually had bought the international version, which means that in theory you can get fuel anywhere you want. Not, as in, like, you can go shop at any store, any whatever. And by the time I had inherited it, this thing had actually burned kerosene. It had burned. Joking rumor had it had burned vodka, although I don't know. Frankly, I'd rather drink it. But that was part of the I guess joke, and it had definitely done aircraft fuel, I believe. So yeah, because my father-in-law was involved in the forces, so he'd been lots of places and stuff, and sometimes you just cannot get fuel. Like it's just not available when you're stuck in the middle of a hot zone. So great, but unfortunately, in order to burn these different types of fuels, it's supposed to have a different type of nozzle because, of course, things need to be turned into aerosols in different ways. And the bad news is this one only has the nozzle on there for doing white gas, I guess. It does not any longer have the nozzle for doing pretty much anything else. I don't know what happened to it, but it's missing part. Now, funny enough, I actually happened to have run into another leader, who actually also has the same model stove, was not involved in the forces, but he has all the bits and bobs. So we'll see if he'll be nice enough to share the information on where he was able to find those parts, because it's a stove from the 1980s now. There's a more modern version of it. Oops. But the more modern version doesn't have all quite the same opportunities as the old version. So we'll just have to see. Oh, great. So this one's built on an odd, whereas the other one was built on an even. Let's just do it the same way anyway. 1, 2, down by 2. And that would be down, so I'm not going to do that. And of course it starts to be night. Fantastic. Expedient solution. Got this one. Oh, so this would be lower. Lower. Oh, shoot. Bridge should be front to back, not side to side. Darn. Completely wrong direction. Fiddle, fiddle, fiddle. There's going to be a lot of birch buttons going down here. Will she fall off the roof? Find out next time on. Just kidding. One. That should cover everybody. Okay. Find the center ridge. I think it's about one. I think. 2, 4, 2. Come on. That looks better. Upper for 2. Lower for 2. All wrong. Oh, nope. Can't even seem to talk today. We're almost done for now. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah. That's funny. Because I'm crouching on the slabs, it actually wouldn't let me go down the stairs. Not stairs, sorry, down the scaffolding or across it. That's kind of amusing. I figured it would just let you just go down, like as though you were using the scaffolding normally. Apparently that's not the case. Anyway, that's my rant about scouting for the day. I'm looking forward to my son being able to get his permits because he seemed to be really enjoying it, really enjoying learning about them. And that would be his axes and saws, knives for whittling and just general usage. And that sadly that does include kitchen knives. You don't necessarily need a permit for it, but basically the way the permits work is you're not allowed to carry your own pocket knife until you've shown that you can handle yourself without being unsafe. That's really what it comes down to. The other thing I find interesting, and here's one that puzzles me to no end, is why it is that Canada insists on locking folding knives. So like a knife has to be able to lock into a sort of fixed blade style position. Whereas in other countries, a scout knife or any pocket knife is not allowed to be locking. It's a safety feature for it not to be locking because then you can't hurt other people as easily. They really want you to only be able to hurt yourself, not others. Whereas Scouts apparently has no problem with you hurting others. Is that the way it comes across? The idea is they don't want you, when closing your knife and being a mature individual who would not go and hurt others, they don't want you to be able to like cut your own fingers with a knife. It's like, well, if you're an idiot, you're going to do it regardless of whether it locks or not. And sometimes having the lock encourages people to hold the knife in such a way that they're going to hurt themselves when they close it. So it's sort of like you have to disengage the lock and then move your grip to be able to close the blade in a safe manner that's not going to hurt your fingers. Kind of odd. So I've seen about 3 or 4 different styles of lock, which is kind of interesting because one youth brought a knife in, perfectly fine. It's got the lock as required and everything, but it was just a single blade. Strange enough, was not sharp on the tip, it was sharp on the side, and it had a twist collar. And I was seriously wondering where on earth he managed to pick this up. Ooh. Ooh, a little darker in here than I intended. Okay, so I've got buttoning to do. Excellent. Finish up with a little bit more buttoning, and then I'm off to let you guys free for the day. Free, I tell you, free! Okay, doing buttons. D-U-T-T-O-N. What can I do? That's it. Sandstone's gonna be easy because it's just birch buttons. But the roofing is not gonna look so good with those buttons. I guess my only real recourse is dark oak, I suppose. That stinks. Stinks. If somebody can prove to me that there are other button options for, for the flat dark stone roofing, I would be very, very happy to switch them out. Am I carrying? Yes, I'm carrying the buttons. Another set of birch. Okay. Be skippy all the zeros. Actually, one of the other things I'm hoping to do in the next couple of weeks is just look up some other random stuff I feel like jibber jabbering on about. I think that would benefit everybody. Reach. Oh. Get taller. Hmm. Just go in the same direction. My excuse on the dark oak buttons will probably be, in terms of a realism sense, it's a bird proofing. So I will say spiders would be awfully big birds. I think I'd have more luck doing this rather than trying to hide lighting in the ceiling and then carpeting over top. I think that would just look really weird. Though this many buttons is a little strange as well, so I have to think about that. And also try to figure out what sort of lighting I'd put in. It'd probably end up being something like a sea lantern, possibly. And carpeting over top of that. On the roof, please. Oh, I missed out some of my buttons. Oh, this one, that one. There we go. corner. I keep feeling like I'm going to fall off. Yep. One. Okay. That's the top of that. Unless I change my mind on the roofing, that's this one done. Hmm. That one. And we are down one button. Seriously. One stinking button. You know what? This one. In all honesty, the stone button actually might look better. This way. I think it does. The rest look a little bit sus. I know it's on a roof, but on a roof where you could have had birds, they look like you've had far too many very large birds doing sorts of things that very large birds should not be doing. It's not ideal. Wish it was darker, but it is what it is. Yeah. Oh, whoops. One, two. I think that's all I've got buttons for. Back with more. I'm gonna fly in through the roof, and I'm like, oh no, can't do that. There we go. All right. Another round of buttons. Now I know what I'm using on the other roof. These. Reach. Nope. Ow. you to go the other way. I'm just pedantic. Go. Hmm. No. Another level. Great. Right. Well, we're at noon. And I reach one. Aha. Button. There we go. Alrighty. Follow through, right? This. That. Yeah. So we're getting close to the end. I'm hoping that we'll be done fairly soon. We can start moving in. The stone underneath the flooring will probably be the next major step. And yeah, I guess that's where we're going to end for today. So what I'm going to do is let's just take a quick peek and see. We have, ooh, I think we're going to head over to Bruno today, give him our best. So let's start that up. And then I'll say my good thank yous. Okay, let's try it again. All right. So we have 10 buttons if I can find it. Oh. If you guys have access, you're always welcome to copy paste the first raid message there with the raid hype sheep in it. And if not, you have access, then we can head and use the global message at the second one. Thank you very much for dropping by, Fantastic Sherlock Fox, and Tis for Truth, thank you as well. And anybody who'd been lurking the entire time. So I want to say, basically, I will be back on Tuesday, probably with some sort of materials thing in the morning and possibly bingo in the afternoon. So have yourselves a fantastic weekend, and I will join you in Bruno's stream shortly. Bye-bye for now.
Transfer complete.